Look at these two fuel economy readings side by side. Same year, same model, same highway route, same driver. One car is averaging 31 miles per gallon. The other is hitting 22. The difference isn't the engine, it isn't the fuel grade. And it has nothing to do with any gadget you can buy online for $19.50. What separates those two numbers is something most people will never think to check. And some of it costs absolutely nothing to fix. That's what this investigation is actually about. Because for the last several months, we've been testing a whole family of claims that have circulated in garages, forums, and late-night auto forums for decades. Bimetal fuel conditioners, magnetic fuel line wrappers, vapor injection devices, the kind of products that promise you 40% better mileage for the price of a fast food meal. We brought them into a controlled testing environment, ran them on multiple vehicles, and documented what actually happened. The results are not what the sellers want you to hear. But here's the thing. The real story is better than any of those gadgets ever could be, because there's a legitimate $0 efficiency principle built directly into how your engine manages heat and metal, and it's sitting there right now, either working correctly or working against you. Most people are losing real fuel economy every single day and don't know it. We're going to fix that today. Now, before we get into the test data, we need to talk about where this whole two-metal trick legend comes from. The folklore version goes something like this. In the 1970s and early 1980s, independent engineers experimented with dissimilar metal contacts, copper and aluminum, brass and steel, placed in the fuel delivery path. The theory was that these metal junctions would create a small electromagnetic effect, supposedly aligning fuel molecules and improving combustion efficiency. Some versions of the story include a claim that certain automakers, Toyota among them, quietly buried the research in the late 1980s because it threatened parts revenue and fuel sales. That story is a legend. We investigated it. We contacted automotive historians, searched patent databases, cross-referenced technical literature from that era. There is no documented corporate suppression of this technology. What we found instead is something far more interesting and far more useful. The actual two-metal story isn't about suppression. It's about how your engine's own architecture already uses dissimilar metal contacts in a very specific and important way, and how most drivers are unknowingly degrading that system every time they skip a basic maintenance step. Pay attention to this part, because it's the foundation of everything that follows. Your battery and chassis grounding system is a circuit made of multiple different metals. The lead terminals of the battery, the copper, cables, the steel chassis connection points, the aluminum engine block in many modern vehicles. Every one of those metal-to-metal interfaces is a junction point. When those junctions are clean and tight, the full electrical current moves freely through them. When they corrode, and they all corrode, some faster than others, resistance builds up at those junctions. Resistance in that circuit means the starter draws harder, the alternator compensates, sensors read incorrectly, and the engine management computer makes fuel delivery decisions based on slightly wrong data. That faint musty smell you sometimes notice near a battery that's been running hot, that's oxidation at work, and it's costing you at the pump. A clean ground circuit, by contrast, allows the throttle position sensor, the oxygen sensors, and the mass airflow sensor to all communicate with the ECU at full accuracy. And accurate sensor data means the engine delivers precisely the fuel the combustion cycle needs. Not slightly more, not slightly less. This is the real two-metal efficiency principle, and it's been engineered into your car from the factory. The question is whether you've been maintaining it. We ran this test across 3 vehicles: a 2014 Camry with 94,000 miles, a 2017 Civic with 71,000 miles, a 2011 F-150 with 140,000 miles. All 3 had corroded battery terminals and grounding points. We documented baseline fuel economy on a standardized 60-mile mixed route test, then cleaned every ground connection: battery terminals, chassis grounds, engine to body straps, using a wire brush, contact cleaner, and fresh terminal protector compound. We didn't change the oil, we didn't touch the air filter, we didn't adjust anything else. The Camry improved 1.8 miles per gallon on the same route. The Civic came up 2.1. The F-150, which had the worst corrosion of the 3, jumped 2.9 miles per gallon. That's real money over a year of driving. Not 40%, we'll come back to that number, but legitimate, measurable, repeatable gains from a procedure that requires a wire brush in about 20 minutes, and that's not even the full picture yet. Let's talk about the thermostat, because this is the second half of the two-metal story that almost nobody discusses. Your engine thermostat is a spring-loaded valve made of, you guessed it, dissimilar metals, typically a wax pellet mechanism housed in a brass body with a steel spring. It's designed to keep your coolant below a set temperature until the engine warms, up to its optimal operating range, usually somewhere between 195 and 220 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the manufacturer. Below that range, your engine runs rich. It dumps in more fuel than it can fully burn because cold combustion chambers don't atomize fuel efficiently. Think of it like trying to light a damp log versus a dry one. The chemistry is the same, the potential energy is the same, but the outcome is completely different. Cold combustion walls quench the flame front, leave partially burned fuel in the cylinder, and that unburned fuel either exits through the exhaust or washes down the cylinder wall and dilutes your oil. Now here's where it gets interesting. Thermostats fail in one of two ways. They can fail stuck open, meaning the coolant flows constantly and your engine never reaches full operating temperature. Or they can fail partially, where the valve doesn't fully close during warm-up and the engine takes twice as long to reach the ideal temperature range. Both failure modes cost fuel. A thermostat stuck fully open can reduce your fuel economy by 6 to 12% according to independent testing data. A thermostat that opens too early, even by 20 degrees, still costs you measurably. Most drivers have no idea their thermostat is failing. There's no warning light for early thermostat degradation. You'll just notice, vaguely, that the heater takes longer to warm up in winter, or you'll see the temperature gauge sitting a notch lower than it used to. That's your two-metal bimetal spring-losing calibration after years of heat cycling. The fix costs $30 to $60 in parts and about an hour of work. The fuel savings over the next 50,000 miles can more than justify it many times over. On our test, F-150, we also found a thermostat that was stuck partially open. After replacement, combined with the ground cleaning, we saw a total improvement of 4.2 miles per gallon versus the starting baseline. On a truck that was averaging 17.3, that's a real-world return to what the vehicle was designed to deliver. Let that sink in for a second. No gadgets, no magnets on the fuel line, no vapor injection, just clean electrical connections and a properly functioning temperature control valve. Now let's address the miracle device category directly, because we did test several of them and you deserve a straight account. We tested 3 types of aftermarket fuel economy devices: a rare earth magnet assembly designed to clamp around the fuel line, a bimetal reactor capsule meant to be installed in line with the fuel system, and a fuel catalyst tablet that dissolves in the tank. These products make claims ranging from 15 to 45% fuel economy improvements. In our standardized testing, none of the 3 showed statistically meaningful improvement over baseline. The magnet assembly showed a 0.3 miles per gallon difference that fell within the margin of testing variance, meaning we can't confidently say it did anything at all. The bimetal reactor showed no measurable difference. The fuel catalyst tablet showed a 0.6 improvement over 2 fill-up cycles, which then disappeared on the 3rd cycle. The physics behind why these devices struggle is straightforward. Gasoline molecules are not ferromagnetic. They don't respond meaningfully to magnetic fields at the field strengths these small magnets can produce. Combustion efficiency is primarily determined by air-fuel ratio, ignition timing, compression, and intake charge temperature. None of those variables are meaningfully influenced by a magnet clamped to a rubber fuel line. The bimetal reactor concept has a more interesting theoretical basis. Thermal effects on fuel viscosity and atomization are real physics, but the temperature differentials achievable through a passive device mounted outside the fuel system are too small to produce measurable results in a modern port or direct injection system. Most people don't know this, but the EPA has tested over 100 aftermarket fuel economy devices over the past 4 decades. The vast majority showed no significant benefit. A small number showed marginal improvements in very specific and narrow test conditions that didn't generalize to real-world driving. None came close to the claims on the packaging. This isn't about whether the people selling these products are bad actors. Some genuinely believe in what they're selling. The human brain is remarkably good at finding patterns that aren't there, especially when money, hope, and a memorable story are involved. The Toyota suppression narrative is a good story. It has a villain, a hidden secret, and a promised reward. Good stories spread. That doesn't make them true. Here's what is true. Your engine has a designed-in efficiency that degrades over time, quietly through corrosion and component wear, and that efficiency is recoverable through straightforward maintenance that most people never perform because nobody ever told them it mattered. Let's talk about driving technique for a moment, because this is the 3rd leg of the real free fuel economy story, and it may be the most impactful of all. Aggressive acceleration from a stop uses roughly 4 times the fuel of a smooth, gradual power application. We measured this directly using an OBD2 fuel flow monitor across 15 separate acceleration cycles. The difference between a hard launch to 35 miles per hour and a smooth 2-second application of throttle to the same speed was 0.8 fluid ounces of fuel per cycle. Across a typical urban commute with 15 to 20 stops, that adds up to a meaningful fraction of a gallon every single day. Coasting to a stop, rather than maintaining speed and braking hard, allows the injectors to go into a closed state while the drivetrain slows the vehicle In modern fuel-injected vehicles, the fuel cutoff during deceleration is a real feature, and it works better the longer you coast. This isn't hypermiling mythology. It's how the fuel management system was designed to operate. If you're carrying 200 pounds of gear you don't need in the trunk, tools, bags, spare parts from a project 6 months ago, evidence suggests that extra weight is costing you. Fuel consumption scales with vehicle mass and stop-and-go driving. It's not dramatic, but it's real. Now let's build out the practical checklist, because I want you to have something physical to do this week. If your battery terminals show white or bluish powdery buildup, that's lead sulfate and copper oxide corrosion. Pull the cables, apply a baking soda and water solution to neutralize the acid. Scrub with a wire brush until you see clean metal, rinse, dry, and apply a thin coat of dielectric grease before reconnecting. If you want to go further, locate the chassis ground strap, usually a braided metal cable running from the engine block or transmission to the frame, and do the same treatment at both connection points. The bolt head should be free of rust, and the contact surface should show bare metal. If your temperature gauge has been reading lower than normal, or your heater takes noticeably longer to warm up in cold weather than it did 2 years ago, have your thermostat tested or replaced. A good independent shop can diagnose it quickly. If you're comfortable doing your own work, thermostats on most 4-cylinder engines are accessible in under an hour with basic hand tools. The part typically costs $30 to $50. Check your tire pressure. Every 3 psi of underinflation can reduce fuel economy by roughly 1%, according to DOE data. It's not dramatic, but it's free to check and takes 4 minutes. Cold morning air pressure is the accurate measurement. Check before the first drive of the day, not after you've been running. And if you haven't had a throttle body cleaning in the last 60,000 miles, it may be worth considering. Carbon buildup on the throttle plate and bore affects airflow measurement accuracy and can cause the ECU to compensate with additional fuel. That dark, gritty varnish coating the throttle bore is a common finding on high-mileage engines, and it responds well to a simple cleaning. None of this is secret. None of it costs $40 for a magnetic clip. And none of it requires believing that a major automaker quietly killed a technology in 1987 to protect their profit margins. The real story is that modern internal combustion engines are extraordinarily well-engineered systems that deliver near-factory efficiency when maintained correctly, and that most of them are running below their designed potential because of corrosion and neglect in areas most people never think to examine. Your car isn't broken, it's dirty, corroded in specific places, and possibly fighting a slightly wrong temperature profile. Fix those things, and you will see real improvements. Probably not 40%, but 8 to 12% across the combined maintenance steps we've described is a reasonable expectation based on the test data, and for most drivers, that translates to a meaningful annual fuel cost reduction. The gadget industry survives on a very human desire, the wish that there's a simple, cheap, hidden fix that the big players don't want you to know about. That story will always sell. What actually works, though, is less cinematic. It's a wire brush on a battery terminal at 8 in the morning. It's a $30 thermostat from a parts store. It's lifting your foot off the accelerator 2 seconds earlier than you normally would. These things work because they restore your engine to what it was designed to be. That's the only two-metal story that has ever held up under testing. I know this cuts against what a lot of people have been told, and if you've personally tested one of these devices and seen a different result, share it below. Testing conditions matter, variables get missed, and this is an ongoing conversation. If this made you rethink something you were about to buy, or reminded you of a ground connection you've been meaning to clean for 2 years, pass it along to someone who's about to spend money on a clip-on magnet. And if you want to see the full breakdown of every device we tested, including the one that actually showed marginal promise under specific conditions, subscribe and you'll catch that follow-up when it drops.